And that's a bonus if you're a maximalist living in a minimalist space. These two fall crafts highlight pumpkins and sunflowers and are super versatile for both fall and Halloween decor. And all of the materials come from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to start with this pumpkin sign from the Dollar Tree. I removed the hanger, and as with all these balsa wood pieces, I give it a quick coat of sealer so the paint doesn't absorb into the wood as much. I really loved the pumpkin embellishment that gave a 2D look, but needed to remove it. My heat gun, metal spatula, and some elbow grease did the trick, although I probably could have used the heat gun a bit longer. Now, there are a lot of options for this open space. Originally, I was going to paint it a solid color and add wording, but then decided I wanted to give it a sunset evening look. I started with some traditional sunset colors. However, I felt like it was a bit too summery, so switched it up and used darker purples and even black. This honestly was a bit more eerie than I wanted, but I did prefer it to the previous look. But as an added bonus, if you choose to go with these darker colors, you now have a piece that works for both fall and Halloween. And that's a bonus if you're a maximalist living in a minimalist space. Now, one thing I will say is that I wish I had not been so concerned about painting around the tops of the pumpkins. I'm going to be painting them anyway. If I had painted the lighter lavender over them, the background would have blended more cleanly. Oh well, live and learn. So behind the 2D pumpkin, I wanted to place decorative paper, hence the reason I needed to remove it from the base. This is from my digital scrapbooking program, Artisan from Forever. I've included a link below if you want to check it out. The colors in this paper was another reason why I darkened the colors in the sunset. I traced the pumpkin on the paper and cut it out, but before attaching the paper, I wanted to paint the pumpkin frame. Now, originally I was going to mix orange and brown, but decided to use yellow and brown to give a lighter color to the pumpkin. I wanted the pumpkins to be different colors, so for one I added orange to the yellow and brown mixture, and for the other I added red to that same mixture. I really liked these colors, which not only add pops of color, but also coordinate with the fall paper pattern as well. Now, because I'm not much of an artist, I really like these pieces that have pictures pre-stamped on them. For the stems, I added a bit of black to the same yellow, brown, orange, red paint mixture for the center area, then used the original mixture for the outside of the stem. However, the paint kind of all mixed together, so I just went with it. Now for the outline sections, I added yellow to my Franken paint color mixture, and I did the leaves in a dark green with a light green in the center for a bit of contrast. Once the painting was complete, I fixed the paper to the pumpkin frame and then attached it to the sign. For both of these, I just used Elmer's. And then I used a tan paint pen to smooth out the edges of the pumpkins and also colored in the center space of the stems with black. However, later I decided the black was too stark, so I went back over it with that same tan paint pen. I had a thought of taking these small foam pumpkins, cutting them in half with my cutter, and adding them to the bottom of the picture for some dimension. However, I did decide it was a bit too much and ditched them. Now, I was really happy with this piece, but I felt the sky needed a bit more oomph. So as a final touch, I decided to add both a bit of glitter and glow-in-the-dark paint. I used more glitter towards the top. I was concerned that this might be too much, but in the end, I love how this turned out, and I am happy with this final touch. Next up is a sunflower pocket sign. Many of my favorite creators have done similar pieces, and I knew I needed to give it a try. I started with this sign from the Dollar Tree. I really liked the size as it's a bit shorter and wider than their other signs. I also liked the frame. In order to use the front, I needed to remove the embellishments. I also wanted to remove the paper, but it wasn't budging. Instead, I gave it a coat of sealer, hoping that it would help the paint cover the background. Last year, I did an entire video on sunflower-themed crafts and DIYs, and I picked up a piece of burlap fabric stamped with sunflowers. I didn't use it last year, but knew it would be perfect for the pouch for this project. I really wanted to lean into the yellow of the sunflower, so I chose a brighter yellow to paint the background. I was concerned by how much of the original background was showing through, but a second coat took care of most of that issue. I did consider using adhesive vinyl, but didn't like the look of that either, so left the paint, knowing that there would be flowers covering the majority of the space anyway. Now, I did want the frame to be darker, so I painted it a dark brown. I cut a piece of the burlap that was slightly larger than the interior measurement of the sign, and after a quick press with my super cute mini iron, I glued it to the sign to make the fabric pouch. You want to make sure that the fabric is not too tight against the sign, as you need room to place the flower stems. After playing with the flowers a bit, I decided to keep the orange ones together, but cut the yellow ones off the bunch and intersperse them around the orange flowers. I finished off the sign by taking the burlap piece that was cut off the pouch, cut it in half, and tied each piece to the hanger. If you thought this was a quality video, I hope you'll check out these other videos, and thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a quality day.